out here. Brick Oven, grand opening in Linden, New Jersey.
Gonna come in here, taste some pizza, have some tequila. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna drink tequila tonight. It's gonna be nasty.
You know, beautiful outside, look good, look new. We're gonna talk to the owner, sit down, taste some pizza, see what motivates him, see what moves him,
Yes, sir.
and keep it moving from there. Y'all tuned in, all right?
This is our episode. I don't know which one from the one-on-one, but Ray's finally behind the camera. I haven't done a one-on-one because I'm the most unprepared person possible. I'm on brand though. But we're here at a Humble Brick Oven Pizza in Linden, New Jersey with Johnny himself from Johnny Tequila. You call this JT?
Yeah, people call it JT's for short, Johnny Tequila's, but yeah.
I don't know if you know, but we have an ongoing joke that we call it the black hole.
Why's that? Why's that?
Because we walk out of there not remembering shit.
Oh, damn. Yeah,
so
for
we
sure.
call it AKA the black hole.
For sure.
We have such a good time there. I'm pretty sure this is going to be our second black hole as well.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Definitely, man. So what inspired you to open up a pizza shop? You already had a taqueria?
Yeah. So Johnny Tequila's is there. We've been there for 9 years now. You know, thankfully we built up a strong base of people who are loyal customers and who come in and show support. A lot of them have become long-term friends. So for me, it was just like when I got approached about the opportunity, the landlord came to me and his representatives, and they were like, "Oh, we really want you to do another concept." But the distance for me was too close. And so I wanted to do something that accentuates Johnny Tequila's, it complements it in a way. So that way the people who already show me love over there have another place to go to on the days they can't be there. So you can kind of bounce back and forth. So I had this idea for a pizza place, came up with it with my son. And then I was just like, oh, yeah. So we were just, so it was kind of in the back burner until they approached me. Then I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to do it sooner than I thought. So yeah, so that was it. And then,
so I know you guys were supposed to open a little sooner,
right?
But I don't think it was. You had something to do with the brick oven, the oven. Plus, so what were the obstacles you ran through when it came to opening a whole new location?
Right. Well, for me, it's kind of like
it's running another location. Which
right.
Is
Right. So it's kind of like how you said about yourself being on brand. For me, it's just kind of like deal with things as they come. So so my projections were kind of like, oh yeah, but I'll cross bridges as they come. But yeah, when it all landed, it was kind of like when I was doing everything by myself. That's one of those things that it takes a little bit longer, but it ends up being exactly how you want it. So it took longer than I expected because I wanted things to be exactly how I wanted them. But thankfully it all came together now. But yeah, I was hoping to be open like for the summer.
Yeah, I remember.
And then now, yeah. So then I was like, well, listen, when it's right, it's right. I'm one of those type of believers that things happen when they're supposed to. So then I was just like, listen, when it's ready, it'll be ready. When we got the team right, it'll be right. And then I'll just deal with whatever it is until then. So yeah, so it was a bunch of little things, but we got here.
That's great. And talking about the pizza aspect of everything, the brick oven, from my understanding, that's one of one. There's no other brick oven designed.
No, yeah, that one was, there's a company in upstate New York that came from Italy. They build them in New York so they don't have to like do the whole importing thing. But yeah, it's all custom made. It was fun because I was able to design it from scratch in terms of how it looks and the branding on it. And so when I first reached out to them, we started talking about how I would want it to look and brainstorming ideas. So I already had the logoing with the face, the heart, and I knew I wanted to do pixelated. And they already did little tiles, so it kind of all tied in because that ends up giving you a pixelated image. So it was like kind of perfect. So yeah, it was. So once I had those, it was just about placement, size, and all those elements. But yeah, they did a bang up job.
Yeah, that looks
and it's,
amazing, by the way. That's why we make sure we put you on this side so we can see it.
Yeah. So that
real quick, so how hot does this oven get?
it goes up to
And how
almost
long does
1,000
the pizza take?
degrees.
1,000 degrees.
Yeah. So it goes really high. We're working it now because it's one of those things I'm learning about now because this was all new to me also. But I just knew what the end result was because you enjoy pizza your whole life, but you don't think about it much. So for me, that was one of those things that adds to the time is that I want to learn what it's about, not just like, oh yeah, give me the best pizza. I don't cook personally, but I like to know what they're doing in terms of like picking the ingredients, making sure that like the tasting, that the tomatoes, using things that are organic, making sure that we're keeping things as fresh as possible. So that's why I was like, what was the beginning part of the question again?
Well, just how hot it gets, and
so that's why. So I was tying all the way around. I'm sorry. So then that to that point. So then that's what now with the dough, it all fluctuates. So we work the oven depending on the day and the temperature, which is what I'm learning about now. Anywhere between 750 to like 900. So usually we keep it in that range, depending on all these other elements and when we start to see in the pizza.
So how long does it usually take to cook a pizza?
It really takes about 4 minutes. Like from the time they start running.
That's a good turnaround.
Yeah. And it has like a rotating floor. So the guy doesn't have to be in there like turning the pizza. Like you see in a lot of pizzerias, they put it in and they have to flip it so like it burns evenly. So with this one, the floor rotates. So you put it down, it goes around, it gets a nice burn all the way around.
Gucci version of
Yeah, I try to. And the thing is too, it just makes it's like a double positive because one, you end up with a better product, but two, it also ends up making it easier for the cooks. So they can continue to move and do other things
and put other pizzas
and start building it because we know like it's gonna get a nice even cook, and it's not like you're gonna end up with a half pizza that wasn't. Now they're trying to like fix it. So it was like one of those double positives. So yeah.
Okay. So since I'm an avid Johnny Tequila goer, aka the Black Hole, so the themes seem very similar. So what inspired you to keep it kind of the same, but yet it's different?
Right. Yeah.
But it's
different,
but not the same.
Right, and that was the goal is how do I achieve that? Because if you look at it, it's nothing like the other place, but you feel like it's you know that the same is inspired by the same person, or I hope, So for me, it was like playing with that idea. So when I'm originally from New York. I grew up in Brooklyn.
Where in Brooklyn?
East New York.
I live by Sunset Park.
Okay. Yeah. So that's not too far.
Right there.
So I was in East New York, but then I moved to Jackson Heights, Elmhurst, Corona, that area. So I moved there in like my late teens. So my first experience with pizza was obviously New York, the elements, walking around.
Pizza,
right.
Pizza and pizza. The $1.50 pizza with a slushie.
Exactly.
That's what I was used to.
That was my entire youth. So my whole thing was really thinking about what was happening instead of just making like a generic pizza spot. Like everything I do, I like to do it personal, in a way because then I'm staying true to myself, but it's also to kind of show the connection between me, and anyone who comes into my place, and they feel like I have a kinship with the person who created this because they understood the elements. So really, it's a way, I use design as not just a way of just making a spot that's cool, because you can make a spot that's cool and just spend a lot of money. But it's really like, how do I do something that's personal to me and true to me, and that allows me to talk to my customers so that they know we're on that same wavelength, No,
and you're very hands-on. Like I've met you multiple times.
Right.
Well, we just came here and was like, listen, we're going to interview you. You got to sit down with
Right.
Yeah,
I was like, what? He was like, yeah.
I
spoke to Steve. Steve said, I was like, all right, it's all good. Let's do it.
But no, you're a people person.
Right.
You're all hands-on.
Right.
You don't really see the owner 9 times out of 10 at a restaurant that I go to.
Right.
That's an up-and-coming spot or something that's been established already.
Right.
So just to talk a little bit about the drink menu. So right now I have here, let me see if I remember, the Bourbon à Limon. So tell me a little bit about the drink menu.
Yeah, so the drink menu for me was like, okay, Italian, what are the things that speak to me from Italian, and it was like, obviously we have a nice wine selection, so that's always one of those things. You have pastas, you want a nice wine, but for me it was like, what are the other things that are underutilized but that have a good amount of options? So spritzers are one of these categories that are Prosecco-based drinks that I felt like there's an opportunity there. It's like, I would compare it like loosely, but like why everybody likes a White Claw, or why everybody drinks High Noon, or that sort of thing,
okay,
right? Because it's like, right, it's lighter drink. So the alcohol's there, but it's the same thing. It's a light drink that's not based off of the typical.
It's almost brunchy.
Right. It's brunchy.
Like this, I would have never thought.
Yeah, so that one's a bourbon limon. So the limon is one of those things. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. One of the things about, so that's on the spritzer side. So we were like, oh, let's make cocktails. Let's play with the whole thing, topping it off with Prosecco. Good for brunch, good for nighttime. If you want like a nice cocktail that's not too heavy, like you have a couple of them and you don't feel like, you know, you're gonna have to call an Uber. So that's the spritzer, and then and on the cocktail side, that one you had al limon is because let me see 1 second. The lemoncillo that's in there, that's something that's made in Italy. So spritzers, yeah, it's a limoncello. So limoncello, like I went to Italy this summer because I like to like explore into whatever's going on.
Mind you, you know me, I know you. But I know a little bit more about Johnny than you think, because I know you travel.
Yeah.
So when you change a menu option, I know you travel.
Yeah. I went someplace to taste something, right? So that's why a lot of what I do is inspired by places that I travel to, whether it's here, Johnny Tequila's. So I was in Italy for the summer. I spent 2 weeks there. And then, you know, I was in Rome. And then I went to, I was in Rome for a while. Then I went down to the Amalfi Coast. So when I went down there, limoncello is something that's big, that whenever
very big.
Yeah, whenever you finish a dinner, they give it to you like as a after, like almost like a palate cleanser. Yeah, so it was one of those things that when I had, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I was like, those are the two areas that I want to focus on. So got here, started to talk to them. Me and Edwin, who's the head manager here.
Okay.
So we started to play with cocktails, and I was like, we have to infuse limoncello into some of our cocktails. Bourbon is big, so then we're like, let's bounce these two off of each other. And then we came up with that. So I'm glad you like that one too.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, I don't have any other questions. You hit everything on the mark. We're gonna do another one at Johnny Tequila's, aka the Black Hole, eventually.
Right. No, for sure. So any
we appreciate you having us, man.
For sure. I appreciate you guys coming through. You know, it's something that we talked about. Enjoy the pizza. Let me know what you guys think about what you guys had, and you know, because one of the things is to continue to evolve. So based on the information people giving me, I always take it seriously, and I try to learn, and then we talk to the kitchen, and then we try to continue to make ourselves better and better, because it's one of those things that you take time. Like you start off and you're like, okay, we got it. And then it's like, okay, we start to get feedback, and then we're like, how do we make it better? Because we're all learning, right?
It's always time to learn, always time to improve, always.
Right. So that's the goal now. So this is the first round, and we'll continue to evolve. So let me know.
We'll be back. Thank you guys for listening. JT here, always, aka the Black Hole. I'm a brick oven, will be the Black Hole. Shout outs to Fifth Ward Media. This will be on YouTube eventually. Obviously, we got to run it by Johnny real quick, make sure everything's good.
We all good. Whatever you want to do is all good with me.
Shout outs, I appreciate you guys. Thanks again, man.
Appreciate it,
man.
Bro.